Okay, let's try this one for us. There we go. Okay, that seems to be working a little bit better. Can you guys hear me now? I think you should be able to hear me. If you can't, I've apparently gone off my rocker because the audio bar is working down there now. So if you guys can hear me, go ahead and write below, or go ahead and write in the question section that you guys can hear me. I saw, Emily, you wrote on there, you can't hear any sound. A couple of the other guys have wrote on here as well that you couldn't hear any sound. So if you can hear some sound now, let me know so we can get moving forward and actually hear you for you there. If it doesn't work, well, I guess we'll try something else. So I'm going to wait a minute and see if somebody writes something on there to say that you guys can hear me, or maybe you can't hear me. If you can't hear me, I guess we'll just have to try to troubleshoot and do this another time for us. Basically, the whole point of the talk tonight, what I wanted to talk about was simply that Alexander, thank you very much, says that the sound is working now for us. We've had this technical glitch before, and I'm not sure why it keeps popping up, but it does. So all that you guys missed out on, the long and the short of it is, we're waiting for clouds to clear out of the area for tonight, and then temperatures are really going to drop back down for us. Basically, those clouds almost act like a blanket overhead. And once you take the blankets off, of course, temperature will really drop. Any heat that we had for today, which was our warmest day in 11 days, it's going to escape back up into outer space, or at least the higher levels of the atmosphere. So that's what we're waiting for. And that kind of weird looking shot that I was showing you earlier, you guys can see it right here. This is what we're really watching. The reds that you see here are indicative of some cooler cloud tops. This is mid and upper level clouds right here, pretty much sitting right over Toledo. But they should be clearing out of here by 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And then temperatures will drop back. Typically on a cold evening or just a typical evening, we'll get temperature drops during the overnight hours of somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 degrees per hour would be pretty extreme. Tonight we'll probably get 2, 3, 4 degrees per hour for a while once those clouds clear out of here and high pressure builds into the Great Lakes. It's going to be a really cold evening. The record low for tonight here in Toledo is 8 below zero. We're forecasting to beat that by 1 degree, 9 below. It's going to be pretty close, but I think we'll either get really close or we will end up getting there. And a big reason why, I'll flip the map back over for you guys and show you this. This is now a national map for you here. And what we have plotted on here, and this is SimuAWIP software. You guys can go to simuawips.com, check this out. It's really easy. It's the simplest way for me to show you a lot of things. So that's why I use it instead of some of our fancier weather graphics that we show on air. It's just simpler when we're doing these Google Plus Hangouts. High pressure right in the central U.S. I can take the temperature gradient off of it. Look at that high right over Minnesota. Very strong, 1043. And it's spitting down cooler Arctic air. Hey, look at that. We have some winter weather watches and warnings. Very cool. Let's close that. But I'll loop this, and you can see how that cold air is spilling south. In fact, it's so cold that the temperature gradient that's put on here, the legend, kind of maxes out. That's why you don't see anything up here across the northern tier of states and up into Canada. It's simply too cold. It's just maxed out. But that cold air is spilling our way. We had one Arctic front, or I guess we'll call it a cold front, that came across the area earlier today. That's what led to some of those snow showers you may have seen out there, especially to the east of Toledo. Tonight, we're watching as an Arctic front is getting ready to drop, and it's currently in south central Michigan. Should arrive pretty much right on time with the same time that those clouds are moving out of here. So that's why we'll get that pretty extreme 3 to 4 degrees per hour of temperature drop tonight, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 5 to 10 below for tonight. There's enough of a wind with that high pressure centered to the west of us. Even a 5 to 10 mile per hour wind can really bottom out wind chills for tonight. That's why a wind chill advisory is in effect. And it's going to be the same for Tuesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning, and Saturday morning. Wind chills are going to be very, very cold out there for us many mornings this week, and actual air temperatures will be very cold. We have a chance to break a couple of records this week. I think we have a chance Monday morning. It's not out of the question. Thursday morning, Friday morning, or Saturday morning, any one of those, we could potentially break record lows across the area for us. And a big reason why is we're going to get many more of these Arctic highs that come overhead and make it really cold over the Great Lakes for us here. Let's see what this next map that I had centered up for us here. Oh, it's the same map, so I won't show that one. Here's the confidence by the Climate Prediction Center, basically showing that the next 6 to 10 days, it's going to be cold, not only here in the Great Lakes in the Northeast where it has been cold, but it builds back off to the west. And this is kind of important as we look at the overall temperature outlook, and this will answer some of your questions that you guys have been having along the lines of when are we finally going to see a warm-up? Well, the trough that's been in place, the series of low pressure centers that have been coming across the Great Lakes and the Northeast, that pattern is going to break down a little bit and shift further off to the west. And what that does is it not only spills that cold air back across the Rockies and over towards the west coast, but it puts us a little bit closer towards a stormier pattern. And I think that really starts to shape up as we get into the first week of March for us. And it's something that we'll have to watch for us. It doesn't mean we're talking big snowstorms necessarily. It could actually mean a warm-up the first week of March, at least for a couple of days. I don't see an extended warm-up outside of maybe 1 to 2 days kind of piggybacked together, shaping up the first week or two of March. It still looks very cold for us, but there is the potential that we finally rise above freezing. Keep in mind, today was our 11th straight day below freezing here in Toledo, and it looks like we're going to make it through at least the next 5 to 6 days out there where temperatures will likely stay that cold for us. So when we talk about an incredible stretch of cold, we're kind of really sitting under it right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to break up at least a significant way anytime soon for us. It's going to stay pretty cold even as we get into let's say next week or so for us. I wanted to bring up the 7-day forecast for you guys so I could kind of show you what we're talking about in the forecast. Let me zoom in on this, and I know you're still centered on me, but it'll give you a little bit of a clearer picture of what we're looking at here. This is off the Toledo News Now webpage. You guys can go there anytime. Here's the forecast for you. We've got a high of 9 degrees for Monday, 22 on Tuesday, with a slight chance for some snow showers on Wednesday. Thing to watch out for Tuesday, even though the high temperature is going to be in the low 20s, the morning low is still down near 0, and the winds are going to pick up through Tuesday. So wind chills will still be quite frigid Tuesday. Another one of these high pressures comes overhead Thursday and Friday. And look at those overnight lows, 3 consecutive mornings below 0. Saturday morning, we have 2 below right now, but we may actually have to drop that down a little bit. That's something that we'll have to look out for. Get out of here. Silly ads. And then as we go Saturday into Sunday, that's that potential the first day or two into March. There's a system that we'll have to watch for. The models have gotten a little bit aggressive with it. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know that over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've taken some of the model guidance. At times it looks okay. Sometimes it doesn't look okay. This is one of those times where it looks like it's latching on to the idea of some moisture and a system moving through the Great Lakes the second or third day there in March. But I'm not sold on it being a big warm-up for us. I think we'll get close to freezing. In fact, that could be our good chance to get just above freezing out there. Some models are trying to put us in the 40s, upper 40s out there. I'm not sold on that happening just yet. Not because I like the cold, but I'm not sure that the pattern breaks down enough for that sort of warm air to really get up here quite yet for us. It's something that, of course, we're going to have to watch out for. I think I had one more thing I wanted to show you guys. Oh, wind chills for the morning. Just to show you one more graphic real quick for you. I'll do another one of these screen shares so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. This is the HRRRRRRRR model. You weather weenies out there will get that joke. It's pretty funny. And all that it's showing is very cold wind chills. These are the wind chills, not actual air temperatures. And it's usually one of the more aggressive forecast models. So don't take this verbatim, but just to give you a general trend that we'll be sitting over some of the coldest air. This is at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Some signs that wind chills could be as low as 25 below 0 for tomorrow morning, but we're not going to take it to the extreme of that quite yet. We're going to say 10 to 20 below seems a lot more likely for us than 25 below or so. Okay, I know I've answered some questions so far for us here, and we usually try to keep this down to 10 to 15 minutes or so, and I know we had the audio glitch, so I'm going to try and speed this one up for those of you that'll be watching afterwards and get to some of these questions. If you have questions right now, I'm going to be monitoring my Twitter feed here for the next few moments. I'll look over at that while I'm answering some other questions, or right here on Google+, go ahead and ask your questions. I know some of you have been doing that down there. Ashley, I just saw your question. Alexander, you wrote some questions too, so let's get to some of these. Kyle was asking earlier, and I think this one was on Facebook that I saw it. Kyle asked, how much more snow are we expecting? And the answer to that is really tricky. It depends on that storm pattern as we get into early March, Kyle, because depending on where we sit on the warm or cold side of those storms that'll come up here, really depends on how much snow we get. But we're certainly not out of the woods yet for snow, and we'll have to watch for Wednesday. We're less than 1 inch away here in Toledo from the all-time snowiest February record. We have had more snow this February than last February. Think about that one. Pretty incredible. And this February is colder, in fact, much colder than last February was. So I know last year we added up the snow, especially in January, and it was incredible. But this February has been far and away colder and snowier than last February was. Pretty incredible when you compare this year to last year for us. Alexander wanted to know about that March warm-up. I think that answered your question. Also wanted to know wind chills this week. Kind of touched on that, especially for tomorrow morning. So, Alexander, I hope that answers your question. Ashley was asking, wanted to know how much colder Tuesday morning will be. And that's kind of what we were mentioning, was that the winds will be a little bit stronger on Tuesday morning. So the actual air temperature will be warmer Tuesday morning, Ashley, but the wind chills will be colder. So that's something we'll have to watch for. I still think wind chills will very likely be in that 15 to 20 below range as the higher end or the lower end, however you want to look at it. But still pretty cold out there for you. Ashley also wanted to know, I was tweeting earlier this week, especially yesterday, about flooding potential this spring. I think Ashley must be down there in Findlay based on what you wrote here. Needs to know about the flooding potential. And that's the best word we can use right now, Ashley, to describe it. Is there's really a potential for the flooding. There's nothing right now that's setting off alarm bells that there's a system coming and we really need to take action right now. What we need to look for is how thick the ice is on the rivers, and it's been cold and they are very thick. How much snow we have on the ground. We have around an inch of rainwater sitting in that snow out there. So if we got a heavy rain, the 2-3 inch type of rains that comes, temperatures jump up into the 50s, 60s, and 70s or something like that. Crazy. It really wouldn't be a good thing for us because it would likely lead to some flooding. So as we go February into March, we really need to be watching it, but there's nothing that's setting off alarm bells that flooding is imminent in any areas. First, we got to get a warm up and get above freezing before we can worry about that, Ashley. But you can count on it. We'll, of course, keep you up to date on the very latest on any flooding potential out there for us. You can see they turn the lights on. They tend to do this. Usually they turn the lights off on people when they want them to stop talking. Here they turn the lights on because that means it's time for them to do a few promo shoots and things like that. So we're going to be signing off for tonight. We will fix these audio issues for next time, and we'll do a better job. For those of you who joined in, thank you. If I didn't get to your question, I'll try to get to it next time. Of course, try to get to all the questions. Until then, have a great week. See you over on Twitter and Facebook here. Take care.